I mean, the ship now, it's confirmed it's broken into two parts, and they have also decided what they are going to do with the different parts. So the operations team, they are thinking that the bow of the ship will be sunk at like a depth of 2,000 feet down there in the oceans. But that will be taken care by the Japanese operation team. The front piece will be scuttled, and eventually the rear of the ship will be dismantled. So they are just trying to recover all the big pieces, maybe the machines and all, whatever they could recover from it. They are going to do that. Now, while this whole operation is going on, we should not lose track of the fact that there has been a second oil spill, and there might be one more. And we don't know exactly now what has been the extent of the oil spill when the ship broke. We are not given figures, but what we've been told is like there is still like 40 metric tons or so around. I'm just giving a figure. It's around that figure of oil still in the ship. So I don't know how safe that it is. So they are trying to remove that 40 metric tons. And we don't know how much of the spill has already occurred. But what I know is like, what I know from the Coast Guard is like they've tried to control this amount of oil that has been spilled. So they've taken like additional measures. There were more like 600 additional meters of booms that were secured and all to try to contain the oil spill. This is only now it will be even more difficult for us to assess it. What's happening to oil spill? Whether it is reaching the shores? Because now there is a tight restriction, and all these sites, this coastal line is being interdicted for civil society. It's being fully controlled. The situation is still very bad on the ground. A lot of spots around the shoreline is still very much polluted, and this I can assure because I was on the ground yesterday. I think recovering will be very bad. Now, yeah, I mean, physically people is seeing the damage, but what people is not seeing is the invisible damage, the biological and chemical interaction that is having now, that is taking place. This is so dynamic. So with this oil spillage and this hydrocarbon reacting, chemically and reacting biologically in all the food cycle and the life cycle of all our marine plants, that effect, which is much more dangerous or equally dangerous as what we've seen, it's only in the medium term that we'll see the effect. When we'll see corals bleaching, we'll see the mangroves dying, then we will know, oh, this is the impact coming, so that will be a bit too late to mitigate. There's a general sense of revolt in the country, and especially now the people who were cleaning, okay, maybe now we need to be more scientific, more very specific in terms of cleaning, but these people could have been trained. It doesn't take anything to tell you, it just takes a few hours to train people. Well, if you go to this specific site, this is what we want you to do. If you go to this specific site, this is what we want you to do, And there should be like government officials or expert, whoever is on the ground, to direct these people, but don't put them aside. Don't prevent them from coming and cleaning their country. These people are putting their health, at threat, and they are just ignoring anything. Their prime concern is to save this lagoon and save this shoreline, and these people now are being prevented. I mean, they didn't call for the proper people to advise them on the ground. This site is a very specific site. It is very historical in terms it's, at the time when we had pirates around on the island, this used to be the battleground for the pirates. Because they were the outlaws, and they couldn't go, to do those duels. They were fighting each other on the ground. So they challenged them, and it's like a sort of a cave under coral rocks, which goes on the sea. It's it's called it has a French name. It's called La Place d'Orme. This is like where the one-to-one challenges between the pirates were happening. Yeah, because it's on the shoreline.